Hello, everybody. Thank you to be here. We will spend some time together tonight. I guess you know the topic of this meeting. We'll talk about the Zulu experience that we will have in September, basically, but also our own experience, and in which way the connection and the contact with this nation, this culture, brought to us in a direct way for what concerns Yishai and Nessia, in a more indirect way for what concerns myself. But anyway, the whole thing really had a great impact on myself, both under the personal and professional side. So I'm talking first because the meeting is supposed to be in Italy, but not because I'm the more informed about the whole thing. And I will just introduce this time together, and then I will leave the word to Nessia and Yishai to talk in a more direct way what has been their experience. So I think we are all set. We can start. Possibly some more people will come, but let's start from now. And before going in detail in what is the issue of this webinar, I would ask everybody to take a moment and to take some few breaths in order to connect with the intention of being here. Why this webinar is important for me, what I'm looking for. So let's take a moment, if you want to close your eyes and take some breathing, some deep breath, and create a wider space on yourself. And find a place of more silence and peace within yourself. And from here, let's connect with the intention for which we are here. We have all come a long way to be here tonight. Every step we made in our own life brought us here. And it's not a metaphor, it's just reality. Every step we did in life brought us here with these partners, with these companions. So let's take note of this. We don't believe in casuality, so we think there's a reason why we are here with these people. And I can ask myself what I'm looking for. What do I want to learn tonight? What new step will expand my world? And finally, what kind of beauty do I wish to serve? And stay a moment with your intention, and just bring your intention in your heart. And if it was a sentence with few words, let's take note of which could be the sentence with the big energy and few words. And I let resonate these words in my heart. And now I can connect to the field that we are creating all together. And I can open my eyes and take a look to the eyes of the people here. I invite you, if you want to share your camera in order to see the eyes of the other people, and let your eyes be in touch with the eyes of the other people. Be curious, be open, and let this this moment touch you in some way, in a deeper way, so that I can see everyone with a wide gaze, like an embrace. I see the people, I see the space around the people. I imagine behind them the greater force that guides them. And the fact that we probably are looking for the same thing, we are looking for the same inner peace, the same kind of fullness of life, the same kind of realizations, and this makes us brother in this search. We are much more connected than what we think. And lastly, I would ask you to imagine your ancestors behind you, your father behind the right shoulder, mother behind the left shoulder, behind them, grandparents, and behind them, a huge number of generations of men and women that at a certain point turned toward life and said, yes, go through me. There's something that need to get alive. And so let's feel our ancestors in our back. Let's lay on their strength, on their energy, and ask your ancestors to be in connection with the ancestors of all the people present in this webinar. And imagine to be in a circle, and to imagine our ancestors making a wider circle. And let's ask to them to protect our field and to help us in doing something good for each of us, and to inspire us in something valuable for our soul, for the people we are in touch with, for our families. And let's feel this wider connection with my ancestors, with the whole circle of our ancestors. And let's feel from this space, which could be my intention in being here tonight. And if you want, you can write down your intention with very few words in the chat that we share, so that at a certain point we can read together our own intentions.
What Lorenzo told now is exactly in Western words what I saw in South Africa with Zulu nation. I studied constellation 20 years ago, and on these 20 years, I wanted to know what Bert Hellinger met there, what the inspiration of his work. And I can tell that I find it in a very, very surprising situation. I come there, and they told me, if you want to speak with your ancestors and our ancestors, you have to bring something. For you, Western people is money, but for us is something like a cow or a chicken or something else that we can use together. Because you cannot ask anything if you don't give something in the same time. And this is the first lesson. So I went there and I bring a little animal. And they told me, you can take this animal in you and to see what happened. You see, he's representing something. You think that you are not connected to anything. You think that you are separated from the nature, animals, all the things, also what you see, but you will see now. So all in the village, in the savannah, I went there. There was there a fire, and they gave me this little animal. And then they told me, now you can go. And when the animal stay in the place that I put him, all the people start dancing and to be very happy. And they told me, so we know that we can trust you because the animal felt that we can trust the place you put it. And so we can speak. And then we went to the house of ancestors. We used to know that in Zulu nation is about 10 million people, and in the savannah, and there is a little house, some meter, and close to this, at each little house, we have a igloo, a sort of igloo, of round house, and this is the house of ancestors. Why it is round? Because we have no secret, and if we don't have angles, nobody can put here, there, and not to be seen. Second lesson, I see you, and I have to see each one. When I do something, Lorenzo asked us to see each one in the eyes, and this is what they wanted from me. In the first night, I was the first white that came there to tell them, I want to tell you thank you for the gift that you gave to Western people. And so they told, you see us, and please, you have to go now to each one of the village. Ask him the name. What is your name? My name is Unkulu, for example. Okay, so you have to see, to look at him in the eyes, some minutes, and then when you have the contact, you have to tell him, I see you, Unkulu. I did this with maybe 80 people all the night. I didn't understand what they wanted from me. I think it was something not so important, but I saw people that started crying because they told me, you know, all of us, we need to be seen. And so when we go to the house of ancestors, when we do the rituals and we connect with them, we have to see who in us, into our body is speaking now. Because you know, if you are angry, if you are happy, if you are sad, it's not you. You know, you are connected with something that you cannot see. We cannot see all. You think that you are only what you see. No, we have another world. It's the world of the unseen. And this world is very much more important for our life that you can see. And so they told me, what do you want? I want healing. What? And they told me, okay, we can see each Sangoma is a healer, spiritual healer, has a little box within his life who find all little things in the savannah, in the house, in the road, that can be the representative of something that who met in the night with when something that come to him in the night. Some people tell me something that for me it's important, and I have to find the representative of these things. So each one has a little box of his own representative. What it is for him, the dead, the women, the sadness, what you want, what who encountered in his life. And so take this and throw it. And who told me, you see, all these representatives, it's not you that you need healing, it's your husband. Now, my husband, it was 17 years with disease. And I told him, but now I want for me, who told you don't know that this has an impact on your life, on the life of your children, of your grandchildren, and the grandchildren that will come. We have to see what happened to him. Because you see, I put here also the candles. And before of the candles, who told me, you see the representative of your husband is in the middle of something. I don't know if who is alive or not. What happened to him? He was with dementia, and a little here, a little not here. And he told me, you know, this had a big impact. Now we will see with the candles. We took 7 candles. Each candle is represented something, and we see the behavior of each candle. The candle, we start with candle yellow. It's for ancestors from the part of mother, and then the long away ancestors from many years ago, and then the candle, another color for the ancestors of father part, then the candle for what happened now in this life to me. My job, my home, my relationship, what happened now? And then for the enemies into me and out of me. And then one candle for the babies that didn't see the light, for the abortion. Because you know who told me in each family, every family has something like this, and we need to see them because they have an impact. And then the last candle for the people that died in the last time, in the close time that we know, or something like grandfather, grandmother, like this. And I see, and told me, you see this candle. What happened to, well, how many children do you have with him? How many children do you have? I told him 2 children. And who told me, but I see now in this candle of the children, I see 3 people, they are crying now. And I told them, yes, my husband has another child for before we met. Okay, they are crying now. And the first one doesn't have children. It's okay, it's right? Yes, how do you see it? And so all this was evolving, and we can put something be exactly what we are doing with the constellation, but instead of people, we do it with candles or something else. And this was very, 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 very close to me, because they told me you have to heal the part of ancestors of your husband, because each family has something that we bring from many times, and we take away, and we continue. So you have to see what is the thing, what is the part that you have to heal with all the ancestors, and also your grandchildren and what will come after. Because you are now you can see what happened now. You don't have to know what happened. You don't have to know the name. You don't have to know, but you can see the representative here, what happened. And so we have to heal, and you have 4 things. The first one, they told me, is we have to see where there is sufferance. Where there is sufferance, we need to put our eyes, because this sufferance need to be seen. And we have to see what the sufferance need. Not the story of the ancestors. They passed away, but they are here in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. And then you have to know that you have to come to reconciliation. This is a big thing that Bert Hellinger take from them. The reconciliation is we don't need to be in conflict with our history. All things came, all we do the best we can do in this life, and we have to see what happened and what we can heal in this life. And then, this was fantastic, is the order of love. They told me, if you speak to ancestors of mothers, you have a big door, because you don't need to be little with your mother. You come from them. But your father, you have to be very, very small, and you have to go like a little animal to enter the house of ancestor, because you have to know that you are the little and he is the big one who came before you, and so you don't have to love him. And you see now in your family, there is something not close with the ancestors of your husband. And we need to clean it, to heal it, because I see the ancestors very upset. They are not happy. They are angry. What happened? And I told them that when he was young, who was Catholic, and he left the church, and I told him, what with this? We have to do what the ancestors or our parents told us. No, you have to take your life, to do your life. Also, it is not according to the value of your parents, but you have to see their sufferance, you have to see them, and you have to know that you belong to this. You have a connection with them. You cannot cut the connection. So all the time that I was there, this was, I thought, in everyday meeting, not something that we do in a constellation or in a healing session or something like this. They live like this. I want you, Yishai, if you can explain what happened with death. It was, for example, they told us there is one that cannot find the work, who could not find the work, and he was in the university. The family paid what they can, and they were very poor, but he studied the first degree, second degree, but after some years could not find a work, Yishai, a job. Can you continue? Do you remember? With
I'd like to start from somewhere different, Nessia. So you finish the story so I can start my own avenue.
Okay. So they went to the village and they told him, you see, all the times that you give to somebody your CV, somebody else take your place. So who came before you? What happened to your family? What number of child are you? I am the first, but before me, there was an abortion. And so told, but we need to see this brother. We need to make a ritual to see him for us. We know that we are not the first, we are the second. If we give him his place in the family, you can be connected to what happened before and what will happen in the future. I don't know how to tell you, but in some time, very quickly, this guy find a job, and they explain us. We have to see what happened first in the family, in the close family. If we cannot find somebody, we go to the family of the parents. If it is not there, we go to the grandparents. But we need to include what happened in these families. We cannot exclude anyone. And this is another big thing. And so if we cannot exclude anyone, we are not more alone, because we have the sustain of all what happened before us. We have a coach, we have a big force. And I have to tell you that I was there 3 times, and one time I invite them in Israel, and I am in contact with them. And in what happened in my life, I find myself more calm, more connected, not afraid, because every time if you feel something, I have not to see what will happen with anxiety in the future. I have to go back with my eyes, with all my senses, and to see who is speaking into me. And only this action change the behavior, and also change the connection with what happened now. No more fear, and a big connection. Also in my work, in my job, I see that I feel more of the connection with the people. I can see the synchronicity in each thing. This is, for example, the last time I was there, I was with another one, and she told me, you have here 3 candles, one for the mother, one for the enemies, and one for the grandfathers. And it was the candle white. And she told me, you see, the first one, it's okay. But here, what happened to your grandfather? You see all these little candles that he's crying, and all the flow is full of little piece of candle, white piece of candle. It's like the teeth. What happened to the teeth of your grandfather? I didn't know, but when I came back home, I asked to my family that they told me that at the age of 47, who died because, who passed away because who had a big infection in the teeth, and all the teeth go down, and there was no antibiotics in this time. And I see that I had a big problem with my teeth in 47, and also my uncle. I don't, but if you can see what happened, she told me, now you have to do something with this. And so we make a ritual. In the ritual, it's not a ritual that you pray for something. You feel what happened and you make a report. You speak about what you feel and you see what changed into you and also in the objects near you, in the objects, in the animals, in the people. And so if telephone, somebody is calling you, it's okay. All is a signal and for something. And I invite you to learn to see this signal and this fantastic way of life.
I will say something, not so much. First, just to say thank you to Nessia. My audio was not so good, so I couldn't hear everything you said, but still I heard it in other times, and each time it's still quite amazing, the different experiences you had there in Africa. And also how closely it is all connected with family constellations, which is each time amazes me again and again. But I would like to start with my intention, because I was really moved by Lorenzo's your meditation, and especially where I had this image where my ancestors look at everybody else's ancestors, and then the image was that there's this big feast, or like a party, like all these people looking at each other. And so it was quite a surprising image. But I wrote for myself this intention as part of the exercise. And I think the three of us have it very strongly. Maybe we should also introduce Maria and Laura, who are part of the team. Can you just say hi?
Hi, hello to everyone.
Hi to everybody.
So we have a team, mostly Italians. I'm the only one who is not Italian in this team. But yes, so I was also bitten by the bug of having to get to know the Zulu tradition. And then that was going on for me, and then I met Nessia, and then interestingly, the way we got to, or Nessia got to meet the first shaman, the different steps on the way, it all started with Barbara of the Knowing Field. Maybe people here know her. I said to her, look, I had this constellation, and the constellation said I have to get connected with the Zulu culture. Do you know anybody that can help me with that? And then she introduced me to Lindiwe. Also, maybe some people here know her, Lindiwe Matembu. And then with Lindwe, Nessia, we found somebody else, and slowly, step by step, Nessia mainly went first as the first scout into the wilderness, really just jumping into the unknown with not knowing nobody there, going on the mission. And that's how the whole thing started. And then, as Nessia said, we brought him here. The shaman that most impressed Nessia when she was there, she went through a few shamans or sangomas. And then one of them, which is called Dr. 3 Seconds, and we can say something about that crazy name. But that is very famous in South Africa, but especially with the Zulu people. So she met him and he impressed her, and she said, "Oh, Yishai, we must bring him to Israel." And then we brought him and his wife, and we had an amazing week, or 10 days. I'm not sure how long it went. 10 days here. Each night he took us to do rituals, either in the Jordan River or in the Sea of Galilee, or up in one of the Galilean mountains. And all these rituals always happened between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's when he was most awake. So that was quite amazing. And then later on, we went to visit them. Again, we had all these rituals in the night, which was very profound. So anyway, there are many gifts from these meetings. Not everything went smooth, because although I am Israeli, which is already quite chaotic in comparison to European. But when we went there, it was much more chaotic. It even was challenging for me. So that was very interesting. But the effect on my work, on the constellation work, was profound. It was very, very profound. Until I met them, like many, I think, constellation facilitators, we tend to quote Hellinger. Hellinger said this and Hellinger said that, and this is a very common thing for anybody who's been with Hellinger, to find ourselves having to quote him. But after being there, I all of a sudden found myself quoting sentences from them while teaching constellation work. So this was very interesting. And then I found it just had affected my work in many ways. And hopefully we will meet in Italy, and then we can talk about it, or you will just have it direct experience with him, with Dr. 3 Seconds, and also some other sangomas that we are looking to bring over. It's very, it's not therapy. It's not our usual way of healing. It's indigenous shamanism. It's much more raw. It's much more direct. And it has quite a profound effect. So I think that's enough for me.
Thank you, Yishai. I add only a few words about my own experience, which is not a direct experience, because I have been in touch with this tradition through Nessia. When I met Nessia in Italy, in one of the seminar actually of our school, And when she started talking about this experience, I was so much touched and involved, like remembering something, like if what she was going to tell was something that in some part of myself, was already present. So I was so enthusiastic about every single word, every single experience that Nessia was telling us. And finally, we have been quite crazy in organizing a seminar in January, in which we wanted to put together the constellation experience with the tradition, Zulu tradition, that Nessia was bringing to us. And actually, it has been an amazing experience. We try to be very respectful for both the tradition, for constellation, and for the Hellinger teaching, and also for Sangoma teaching. So I think it has been quite interesting to see how these two worlds could really merge in some way, without making confusion anyway, in a very respectful way. And we notice how powerful it is to include this new wave of knowledge coming from the Zulu nation to constellation. I think that Bert Hellinger made a huge and wonderful work in bringing us some key points, like the order of love, that are really deeply rooted in the Zulu culture. When we talk about belonging, when we talk about balancing, giving and taking, and the ancient rule, the how do you say, the priority,
The reconciliation.
Of course, reconciliation. All this stuff are really deeply rooted in the Zulu culture, and we know that that's just the thing that we do in constellation. So it's so much similar what we do to their own teaching. So we created a way in combining these two teachings, and it was very amazing. And we discovered how much we can still learn about constellation. And I would say that Bert Hellinger did a great job in bringing some of this knowledge to us in that period. And now I think we are ready to make a further step and to learn some more pieces of their knowledge, and to bring this more further teaching to our way to constellate. In September, we will have the privilege of being in touch, deeply in touch with the real Sangomas. I don't know how many times in life this thing can happen. And so I'm really curious in seeing which other knowledge we can bring to constellation from them. So I'm very thankful to the work that Nessia did and Yishai did, because I think it's a very big gift for all the people involved in constellation, and for the people involved in healing, spiritual healing. So thank you for both of them. And last thing, I've been very much impressed by how much joy there is in their ceremonies, in their ritual. Now we are quite accustomed to be quite straight in constellation, not to be too noisy. And at the opposite, they're very noisy, very joyful, and we try to bring some more joy in the way of doing our work. And actually, it was a great experience. So it really surprised me.
I would like to add something. The ritual, it's something that I can feel with all my senses. I have to feel this with food, with all my senses, to see, to speak, to touch, because we have to be alive with all the senses. And so, for example, we bring to the ritual some food. It's not the food I like. or I think that it is natural food or good food. It's the food that I know my parents like. Also, if I think it's not good, it's not politically correct, it's not something, I bring this because I see them and I want to honor them in something practical. And what Lorenzo told about the joy, I want to tell you, I spoke with them 10 days ago. And 10 days ago, there was a tornado, very, very big and destructive in South Africa, in their area. And all the village was destroyed. The house was destroyed. And she wrote me, please pray for us because we are all, for miracle, we are alive. After 2 days, I spoke with her. How are you? How are you, Lilian? What happened? You know what I did when the tornado came and I was here to take myself to something that not to go out from the house. I told to my ancestors, please, if it's not my moment, don't take me. If it is my moment, take me gently. For me, is a way of life. Not to accept passively the things, but to see where we can do something and where we cannot do something. And because we are alive, we have all the reason to be in joy. I know that it's not simple to hear this in this moment, but they are like little children that everything, it's like Luna Park, something new, something that I cannot see, this synchronicity, this telling something about this. It's not only in my mind, it's a find that is speaking. And for this reason, I would like to share these fantastic experiences with all the healers and all the practitioners and all the constellation. All people that would like to open the possibility to see also something else, that it's not only what we can understand with our mind.
Okay, Lorenzo, I think we should maybe give time for people to ask questions, either about the retreat and the project, our plan, or whatever questions you have for us.
Yes, let's open a question time. And so we can enter in more details about the experience that we will have in September.
Can you say something more about the organization of the retreat, where it is going to be, how will be the day, the program around, and how to book for those who are not yet, who don't have decided until now? So just some more details.
It's really fascinating. I had a similar question to Maria as well. I would share the same question. I would just add to that, is the program a combination of work with the Sangomas and their ritual practices? And in addition, there'll also be constellations facilitated by the constellation leaders? Or is the program exclusively ritual work with the Sangomas?
The seminar, it's not a seminar, it's a happening. We'll be open to all who wants to experience something very, very deep. And it will be like this. we will in the morning and the evening, we will do together in the nature. We will be in a big park, fantastic park on Firenze, and 1,000 meters on Firenze. And we will do the rituals. The rituals is something that involves many dance, a lot of dance. They spoke about this, that we dance until we cannot feel that that are our legs and our body that is dancing, but something else that's bringing us. And so we can connect. So we will dance, we will make the ritual with the nature, with the food, with the candles together. And then we will be in little groups with one Sangoma and one of us and one translator or facilitator that will explain what happened. So with the Sangoma, we can have the healing and the treatment, or what you can do that don't speak about treatment, but the meeting about a personal issue, but together with the other. And so we have 2 Sangoma or 3 Sangoma in 3 rooms, and we can change the Sangoma. We can feel each Sangoma and how he works or she works, and we have moment, please. Okay, and we have to. We can learn how to see the signals, how to see the representative of each thing in a meeting, what happened, and we can ask, and we can also experience the healing.
Maybe I add something to that, to your question, Dan. We are still, cooking the program, but we exactly as Lorenzo said, our aim is to make the connection between the constellation work and whatever we get from their traditions and healing and rituals and so on. And so part of our thinking is that towards the end of the retreat, the last day possibly, or in the evenings, we're not quite sure, we will do more constellation work, actual constellation work with constellation facilitators, with the idea of to see what happens when we bring the 2 together. What has happened to us through the day or through these days, with being just being with them. That's even before they say what they say, and they do what they do, because they have this certain energy, I don't know how to call it exactly, that is very specific and very unique and very new. And so it has an influence, they have an influence. And then it's to check, what do we do with this influence, whether if it's something I heard or just from what my body went through. And then what happens with it when I do constellation, when I facilitate. So that's something we are thinking, because we do want to start exploring the transference of that energy or that style of working and healing and tradition and wisdom into the constellation work.
Also into the healing work, not only constellation.
Yeah.
Because all healer, every healer that wants to be connected to something
Yes,
bigger,
Lorenzo,
we know is invited. Yes.
Apart from our effort of merging these two ways of work, I think that everybody will bring back something unique. In my own experience, this deep connection with ancestors, which is much deeper than what I already did with constellation. We are all accustomed to be in touch with ancestors, but believe me, here there is a different quality of this connection, and this creates a different field, different energy. So I think that everybody that will get out from this experience will bring home some unique aspects from this, some very something connected to the energy of doing the same. It will change something in doing the same thing that you already do in constellation, and something different. For instance, what touched me is that in their culture, there's no way to giving back to our parents the burden that we take. No, we usually in constellation, we do something like that. We take the weight, or we ask our client to take the weight that they had on their shoulder and give back. In their culture, we are not almost allowed to do this. We should transform, not giving back. And this opened a new way of seeing the same ceremony, where it's not really given back, because somebody else will have to take care of that weight, of that burden. So we need to find a way to transform, like, you know, like in alchemy, you take iron and you give back gold. And you give back gold because you transform the weight with the power of your love and your power of your awareness. Love and awareness can transform the weight that you took. So you give it back in serving a higher love in some way. So this is something that I took out from this experience, together with many other things, like really talking to ancestors. Nessia really taught me to talk in a very sense of this word to ancestors in doing the report. The report is something incredible, and is something that we will experiment all together. It's really a talk, a loud talk with our ancestors, made more than once a day. And possibly Nessia can or Yishai can talk a little bit more about this beautiful practice.
What happened is that everything that happened to us, we need a testimonial, because if we will not speak about, we will not show it, we will not share it to people, to ancestors. If I am alone I can speak, but I need a testimonial of my changement. And this is very, very big. So they start speaking today. I am very tired because I didn't have a good night, like this. And then when we start to speak, and you see what happened with the candles and so on, we enter more and more in a dialogue with yourself and with the ancestors, that it's very, very deep, and give you a big consciousness about your intentions, what you are living now, what you are experiencing now. And this is a good practice that we will do there together with them. It's important that you don't have to speak with somebody that can hear you. Together, each one, everyone speak together and tell, and this, because it's a work that I don't need to have a testimonial visit.
And then?
Yes.
And we have to speak with the body, and we have to change the energy. Now I am very happy to see you in this meeting of Zoom, and I do like this because I have to bring something that can show that something different it's happened. What makes the difference is a little thing where I have to see it. It's not the big things. Little things, little awareness, little consciousness will bring us to something.
And also the fact that ancestors in some case are sleeping within us. So we need to wake them up.
As ancestors will not come to us. We have to awake them in us.
Right.
We have to awake this awareness in us. And
what I have found so interesting is the way they have to ask ancestors, which is very much energy. It's not a praying.
It's pretend.
Yeah.
You bring me to this world. Now you need to give me your protection. You need. I want to see it. I want a signal of this. You cannot sleep now. You are with me, and what I do here will have an impact to you, ancestors, and to all my children.
Maybe I just, Nessia, connected to what we know from the constellation work. So one of the very basic things in constellation work is parents are big and children are small. Okay, this is a very fundamental idea that we bring a lot into this work. And this report idea, they keep saying you should report to the ancestors. It took me a while to understand what kind of report I have to do. And they all do it aloud. And for me, it was very difficult to speak it out. I could say it in myself, but while everybody else is talking to the ancestors and I should also talk, it was difficult. But still the idea is that you keep talking to them in the most mundane, about the most mundane things, as if you're talking to your parents. So the idea, before you go to the day's work, you will say, okay, these will be my challenges today. I will be doing this and doing that, and I want you, and I demand that you support me and be with me and so on, or inspire me. And then if at the end of the day, if the day was not so successful, come back to the ancestors and then you tell them off. Where were you when I needed you? And so on. So it's a very direct interaction that keeps us as the child with the system. It's exactly like how we as children, demanded from our parents that they give us attention or whatever, or that we should have demanded. But so it keeps, again, it's the same idea of connection, of flow from ancestors to the future and so on, and the support that they can give us. We have all the details of the hotel and the flights and everything in the landing page. We originally wanted by now to know how many people will come, because we have to organize to bring these sangomas from South Africa. We need them to get their passports. We really need to take them by the hand, buy the ticket, the flight tickets for them, and do all the preparation, get them to comply with these demands of these Western demands of passports and planes and such. And this is not so simple in this case, especially that there are many issues with electricity in South Africa and internet, and culturally it's a challenge. So we really needed to know how much interest there will be, because the more people will come, we can bring more sangomas, and it will be a richer experience. So we decided to give 2 more weeks for the registration, at least if not full registration, then pay the advance. So we know we can how many people we can bring, because our plan was that obviously not everybody is going to go there to their place. So bring as many of them here so we can rub shoulders with their energy, because it's worthwhile, at least for us, for me and Nessia and some others who were there. It just had such a profound effect on our work and so many things. As you can see, Nessia can talk about it a lot. I too, but I'm holding myself back, I believe. So yeah, so registration, we will need to know by the end of middle of next month, and then we will decide how many sangomas we can bring. Right now, we would like to bring at least 5, so there'll be different. They have different way of working. If we could bring 7, that would be even better. It would just be a richer experience. So if you want to join, please let us know within the next 2 weeks, so we have an idea. So I think we are coming to a close.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lorenzo and Nessie
Ciao.
and Yishai.
Grazie. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.